Aloha, good morning. This is Karombi Davis of Karombi Realty, and welcome to another Friday session of statistics. Everyone had a wonderful week. And, we're reflecting back in September what happened, and boy, the months just keep flying by. Next thing we'll know, it's Halloween. Anyway, just wanted to give you a few points of what happened last month in the luxury real estate market. Let me share my screen here so we can take a look here. Some very interesting sales occurred that I'm very excited to share with you. But first of all, just to give you an idea of the number of sales, September went down about 5%, and that's not unusual for September. That generally has happened for the past 3 years. And if we look at, the amount of sales from January to, say, September this year, they've gone from a low of 24 luxury sales a month to a high of 44 sales a month. And so it's a steady market right now. And as you can see, I'll show you the graph here, the sales representing, 35 sales there in September. And, it's one of the higher months of sales compared with the rest of the last, 5 years, if you have a look here. And as far as the top sale that occurred with the single family home, very interesting sale, luxury oceanfront property on Kailua Beach. Beautiful beach, as we all know. And this property was a little under 60,000 square feet of land with 255 linear square feet of oceanfront. And this sold for $19 million. It was actually originally listed back in 2018 for over 30 million, and it took 7 years to sell. And someone got an excellent buy at 19 million. It had several price adjustments. And it really brings me to the philosophy of a lot of luxury homes. People think, well, I'm just going to put a price out there. If it sells, it will sell. If not, I've got time to wait. But I don't really feel that that's a good strategy with luxury homes. I think you should come on with a strong price from day one. I don't feel, unless the economy is going to turn around and go crazy, maybe, but I think we all know we're in a steady economy, maybe a little uncertainty, of course, too. So it's very important if you're thinking of selling your home to really price it, as I say, aggressively, but not stupidly. So, and there's always a buyer for every home out there. Now, moving on to the condominiums, here the luxury condo sales were actually decreased 38% in September compared to August. However, August's sales, just as a note, it's very important, is their 21 sales back in August was one of the highest since June 2021. So, we had a bit of a correction in September where a lot of the sales occurred in August. And I'm sure that had to do with a lot of the new developments coming on the market and actually the owners moving in and those sales being registered, of course. If we look at the median price was down about 8%. But the days on market was quicker. And, just to turn to look at the highest sale there back in September is Naha. It's actually one of my favorite buildings down in Kaka'ako. Beautiful 3-bedroom condominium, over 2,400 square feet. And this condominium sold for a little over, I believe, 2.9 million. But again, it was originally listed back in 2024 for a little under 3.7 million. So, you do find the properties are on the market a little longer, but they do eventually find that buyer. And it's in terms of the luxury market, I've seen a couple of homes go into escrow the last few weeks on Kahala Avenue for over $9 million. I've seen the inventory in areas like Hawaii Lower Ridge, where there's 3 homes, where normally there was about 12 homes of sales inventory. So the inventory is still an issue in Hawaii. We have limited supply, but at the same time, it doesn't mean you can ask outrageous prices. You have to price within reason and with what people's expectations are in terms of the upgrades, the land area, the landscaping. There's so many facets to think of before you come up with that list price to secure that buyer, and where it's a win-win. You feel great about the price you're selling for, and the buyers found their ideal property. It's always a win-win when that happens. Now, moving on to Marianne's photos, and I always enjoy seeing her photos. And as we know, the skyline is changing with all the buildings happening in Kaka'ako and the Ala Moana area. And today she talks about the variations on the Blue Coast. And as you see, this first photo shows an interesting variety of condos make a beautiful backdrop for Ala Moana Beach Park. And of course, it's important, being a luxury broker, to know what each of those buildings are, which I do. And then moving on, a view from the pond, and gorgeous architecture, as you can see the buildings. And then another angle taken with the bridges they're doing to cross over into Ala Moana Beach Park. And it really makes a lovely contrast to the condominiums there on Ala Moana Boulevard. And of course, seeing double at low tide. We don't often see this, but it's an interesting angle to see that. And of course, the reflection of the buildings there in the water. Well, with that, have a wonderful weekend. And it's Columbus Day Monday. Some people will have the day off, some won't. As for real estate, we're always working. But I did want to acknowledge anyone who does get Monday off. Enjoy your day off and rest and family day. But until then, much mahalo for joining us today. Aloha.